Welcome, traveler. You found the slumbering cosmos. Tonight, we're going to travel as far as it is possible to travel, all the way to the edge of the universe. Not quickly, not in a rush. We will drift outward slowly, the way a feather falls in reverse, rising gently away from your bed, away from the Earth, past the planets, past the nearest stars, out through the whole spiral of our galaxy, and beyond it, past galaxies beyond counting, until we reach the very edge of everything that can be seen. The cosmic horizon, the farthest shore. And I promise you this, every single step of the journey is calm and safe and quiet. Nothing out there is waiting for you. Nothing means you any harm. The universe is not a dangerous place to a traveler made of imagination. It is simply vast and beautiful and almost unimaginably peaceful. The farther out we go, the quieter it becomes. You do not have to reach the edge tonight. Almost no one will. Most travelers fall asleep somewhere out among the nearer stars, long before we leave the galaxy. And that is exactly right. This is a journey with no destination you are required to reach. The going is the whole point, and the going is soft. So settle in. Before we rise, let's set the whole day down. All of it, the finished and the unfinished alike. The things that went well and the things you do differently. The thoughts still circling, looking for somewhere to land. You don't have to resolve any of it tonight. It will keep. It will all still be there in the morning, and you will meet it then, rested with a clear mind. Not now. Now, there's only the journey, and the journey is soft. Let the bed take your full weight, all of it, so that you're holding nothing up, carrying nothing, bracing against nothing. Feel your shoulders come down, away from your ears. Feel your hands fall open. Let your jaw come loose, your brow smooth. The small tightnesses around your eyes let go. Let a slow warmth move down through you, from the top of your head, down through your chest, your arms, your legs, all the way to your feet. And let it carry the day out of you as it goes down and away into the dark where it cannot follow. And let your breath slow on its own. Don't force it. Just notice it, the gentle rise, the slower fall. And let each breath out grow a little longer, a little softer than the one before. Take one slow breath in and let it go all the way out. Let's leave the ground. We begin by rising gently through the dark above your home. The rooftops fall away beneath you. The streetlights gather into little golden constellations, and then the constellations shrink into a soft, scattered glow. And then the whole city becomes a single warm smudge of light on the side of a turning world. Higher, and the curve of the earth appears, that thin, bright edge where the atmosphere meets the black, glowing blue in the last of the sunlight. Higher still, and the whole planet floats free beneath you, blue and white, wrapped in its delicate skin of air, turning slowly, carrying its oceans and its forests and all its sleeping people through the night. Every person who has ever lived is down there, on that one small sphere. Every story, every ending, all of it on a single pale blue point of light, growing smaller as we rise. And there is the moon, our old companion, silver and still, keeping its patient distance. We drift past it, past the gray seas and the ancient craters, past the small bright dust where a few human beings once walked and left their footprints in a place with no wind to erase them. The moon watches us go the way it has watched everything go for 4.5 billion years, and then it, too, falls behind. Now the Earth is a bright blue bead, and the sun is a warm lantern behind us. And ahead lies the whole solar system, spread out across the dark. There is no sound out here. There is nothing to carry sound at all. Only the slow, silent drift outward, and the stars holding perfectly still, waiting. And notice how quiet it becomes the moment we leave the air behind. On Earth there is always sound. The hum of the world, the small noises of the night, the sound of your own breathing. Out here in the space just beyond the atmosphere, there is none of it. Space is not merely quiet. It is silent in a way nothing on Earth can ever be, because sound needs air to travel through, and out here there is almost no air at all. It is the deepest silence there is. A silence that has never once been broken in all the history of the universe, across distances no words can hold. You can rest in a silence like that. Let it be around you now, not empty, but peaceful. The kind of silence you feel in the last moment before sleep, when the day has finally stopped speaking and there is nothing left to listen to and nothing left to say. Below you, the earth turns on, smaller now, a bright ornament hung in the black. The sun holds it in a warm circle of light, and you drift, weightless, silent, held by nothing and needing nothing, out toward the sleeping worlds. Feel yourself grow lighter as home falls away. There is nothing to hold on to out here, and nothing you need to hold. Just let the drifting carry you, onward past the planets. We pass the worlds one by one, and they are sleeping. Rust-red Mars drifts by, its deserts silent, its great dead volcanoes catching the distant sunlight. Then the wide gap of the asteroid belt, where scattered stones turn slowly in their ancient orbits, so far apart that we pass through the whole of it and never see one up close. Then great Jupiter, banded in cream and gold, its centuries-old storm turning slowly, its family of moons circling like a small solar system of its own. Then Saturn, impossibly beautiful, wrapped in its rings of bright ice, casting soft banded shadows across its own golden clouds. And then the far country, pale Uranus tipped on its side, deep blue Neptune, the last of the great planets, so distant that its noon is little more than a bright dusk. And beyond them, the small frozen worlds of the Kuiper Belt, Pluto with its glacier heart and all its cold and quiet neighbors, turning in the dark at the ragged edge of the sun's family. But the solar system does not truly end there. It fades slowly, far past the last planet, the solar wind, that thin, constant breath of particles streaming out from the sun, grows weaker and weaker until at last it is no longer strong enough to push back the thin gas that drifts between the stars. That boundary has a name, the heliopause. It is in a real sense the shore of the sun's own sea. 2 small spacecraft have crossed it. The Voyagers, launched before most people alive today were born, still faintly whispering home after nearly 50 years, now drifting in true interstellar space, the first things ever made by human hands to leave the sun's protective bubble and swim out into the wider dark. We follow them across the shore, and beyond it lies something almost no one pictures: the Oort cloud, a vast, faint shell of 1,000,000,000,000 frozen comets, surrounding the entire solar system like a soft cocoon, reaching perhaps a quarter of the way to the nearest star. It is so enormous that even at the speed of light, it would take more than a year simply to reach its inner edge, and many thousands of years to pass all the way through. Think of how far we have already come, and how gently, from the warm blue Earth, out past every planet, across the shore of the solar wind, and now through this vast soft shell of sleeping ice, and not once has anything hurried or startled or asked anything of us. The solar system does not end with a wall or a door. It simply thins and softens and fades, the sun's warmth growing gradually gentler, its light growing gradually dimmer, until at some point you can no longer say exactly where home ends and the wider dark begins. There is no border. There is only a slow, quiet fading, like the way waking fades into sleep. You cannot name the moment it happens, and you do not need to. Out here, the sun is no longer a source of warmth on your face. It is a bright star behind you, one among thousands, growing smaller. And ahead, for the first time, the true dark of interstellar space opens up. The enormous, calm, almost perfectly empty distances between the stars, where a traveler might drift for years and pass nothing at all. It is the most peaceful emptiness imaginable. Nothing to reach you, nothing to disturb you, only the slow, silent drift and the patient stars ahead. We drift through it slowly, past sleeping comets that have not been disturbed since the solar system was born. And then, at last, we are truly out. The sun is behind us now, just one more star among the many. We have left home entirely. Rest here a moment at the edge of the sun's long reach. Then we go on to the nearest lights in the dark. The distances now become something the mind can barely hold. So let me give you a gentler way to feel them. Light is the fastest thing there is. It crosses the entire width of the Earth in the blink of an eye, and it reaches us from the sun in about 8 minutes. But the nearest star to our own is so far away that its light, traveling at that impossible speed, takes more than 4 years to arrive. When you look at it, you're seeing light that left it 4 years ago. You're looking into the past. That star, or rather, those stars, for it is a family of 3, is called Alpha Centauri. 2 sun-like stars, circling each other in a slow and stately waltz, and a third, small, dim red companion, drifting a little apart, called Proxima Centauri. Proxima is, at this moment, the closest star to our sun in all the universe, and it is one of those small red embers that will burn on faithfully for trillions of years. Circling it, there is a world, a little planet in the star's warm zone that we have found but never seen up close. Perhaps one distant day, someone will. We drift past them, these near neighbors, and already our own sun has shrunk to an ordinary star behind us. No longer a lantern, just a bright point among a field of bright points, indistinguishable now from all the rest. And this is the first great lesson of the journey outward, and it is a strangely comforting one. From out here, our sun is nothing special. It is not the biggest, nor the brightest, nor placed at any center. It is one modest star among hundreds of billions in an unremarkable corner of an ordinary galaxy. And that is not a sad thought. It means that whatever happens down on that small warm world we came from, the universe holds it gently, without weight, without judgment. One small light among countless lights, all of them shining, all of them allowed simply to be. And consider, for a moment, the sheer patience of a light we are traveling among. Every star you can see out here is showing you its past. The light from Alpha Centauri left it 4 years ago and has been crossing the dark ever since, faithfully, without stopping, only to arrive here now. The light from the brighter stars in our sky left them decades, or centuries, or thousands of years ago. Some of the stars painted on Earth's night sky sent out their light before the pyramids were built, and it is only reaching human eyes now. When you look up at night, you are not seeing the sky as it is. You are seeing a great gathering of the past, all its different ages arriving at once, in a single quiet moment of looking. There's something deeply restful in that. Nothing up here is urgent. The light takes as long as it takes. The stars are in no hurry to be seen. They simply shine, and the light simply travels patiently for as long as the journey requires and arrives exactly when it arrives. The universe does not rush its messages. It lets them take their time. Let yourself be small like that tonight. It is a great relief to be small in a vast and gentle place. Nothing out here needs anything from you. You can put everything down, onward into the wider neighborhood. As we rise higher, the stars around us begin to gather into a shape. Down on Earth on the darkest nights, you can see it, a faint band of misty light arching across the whole sky, which the ancients called the Milky Way, a river of milk spilled across the heavens. What they were seeing, without knowing it, was the galaxy itself, seen edge on from the inside. The combined glow of billions of stars, too far and too faint to separate, blurred together into a soft, luminous road. And now we are rising up out of that road and beginning to see it for what it truly is. We pass through the great clouds where stars are born, vast, glowing nurseries of gas and dust, lit from within by newborn suns, pillars and towers of cool cloud kilometers beyond kilometers tall, sculpted slowly by starlight. Orion, the Eagle, the Carina Nebula, places where right now new stars are igniting for the first time and new worlds are gathering out of the leftover dust, exactly as our own sun and Earth once did, in a cloud very much like these 5 billion years ago. And we pass, too, the places where stars have died. The soft, glowing rings and shells of gas thrown off gently by dying suns. Planetary nebulae, they are called, though they have nothing to do with planets. Each one a star's final, quiet exhalation, a smoke ring of glowing gas drifting outward into the dark, beautiful and brief. And here and there, the tangled, shining wreckage of a supernova, where a great star ended not gently but all at once, seeding the surrounding space with the heavy elements, the carbon, the oxygen, the iron, out of which future stars and future worlds, and one day future travelers would be made. Every atom of iron in your blood was forged in the heart of a dying star and scattered across space by its death, long before the Earth existed. You were made of the ashes of stars that died so that you could be here. We are passing now through the places where it happened. And the pace of it all is so slow that it soothes just to think of it. A star is not born in a moment. It gathers over hundreds of thousands of years, a cloud of gas drawing slowly inward under its own faint gravity, growing denser and warmer and denser still, until at last, unhurried, its core grows hot enough to catch fire, and a new sun quietly begins to shine. And a star does not die in a moment either. It lives for millions or billions of years, and then, over ages, it swells and cools and lets its outer layers drift gently away. Nothing here is sudden. Even the great supernova, the most violent event a star can offer, was built up to across 10 million years of patient burning, and its glowing wreckage will drift outward softly for tens of thousands of years more. We pass through all of it slowly, the nurseries, the graveyards, the drifting shells of light, and none of it disturbs us, and none of it hurries. It is a landscape of the gentlest possible change, unfolding across spans of time so long that, to us, drifting through on a single quiet night, it all seems to hold perfectly still, like a vast painting of fire and dust, hung in the dark. Let that settle into you softly as we rise. You are not separate from all of this. You are made of it. You are stardust, briefly gathered into someone who can look up and wonder. And tonight, you are simply going home to look onward toward the center of it all. Far ahead, the heart of the galaxy begins to glow. The stars grow thicker here, gathered closer and closer together, until toward the very center they crowd into a vast, luminous bulge of billions of suns, a golden hive of stars, so densely packed that if you lived on a world among them, your night sky would blaze with thousands of stars bright enough to read by, and true darkness would never come at all. And at the very center of that golden crowd, there is something we cannot see directly, but whose presence we can feel in the motion of everything around it. A darkness with the mass of 4 million suns. The great black hole at the heart of the Milky Way, called Sagittarius A star. We have watched for years the stars that orbit close around it. Whole suns swinging on enormous elliptical paths around that single invisible point, moving faster than any star has a right to move, held by the grip of something with the weight of 4 million of them. And from those orbits, patiently measured, we know it is there, turning silently at the center of everything, as it has for billions of years. But do not fear it. We have seen on other nights that a black hole is not a monster, not a mouth, not a thing that reaches out. It is simply gravity being complete, and this one sits calmly at the galaxy's center, not devouring us, not pulling us in. The whole galaxy simply turns around it, gently, the way a wheel turns around its hub. Our own sun is out near the rim, taking 230 million years to make a single slow circle around that quiet center. The last time the sun was where it is tonight, the dinosaurs had not yet been born. We hold here a moment above the golden heart of the galaxy, and watch it turn. Billions of stars wheeling slowly around a calm, dark center, in a motion so vast and so unhurried that a single turn takes longer than the age of complex life on Earth. There is no rush here. There has never been any rush here. The galaxy has all the time there is. And think of where our own sun sits in all of this. Not here, in the blazing golden crowd of the center, but far out toward the quiet edge, in a calm and uncrowded stretch of one spiral arm, where the stars are spread comfortably far apart and the nights on any world are soft and dark. It is a peaceful neighborhood, the one we come from, not the bright downtown of the galaxy, with its crowded, dazzling sky, but a quiet outer suburb, where there is room to breathe and space between the stars and darkness enough to sleep. Even within the galaxy, we were given a restful place to live. And around that calm center, everything turns, not quickly, not anxiously, but with the vast, unhurried patience of something that is all the time in the world. 230 million years for a single turn. Our sun has made the journey only about 20 times in its entire life. The galaxy has never once been in a hurry, and it never will be. It simply turns and turns, carrying its hundreds of billions of stars around and around in the slowest and most patient motion you could ever be a part of. Breathe with that slowness for a moment. Let your own breathing find that unhurried pace. Then we rise up and out to see the whole thing at last from outside. We leave the galaxy, up and up, out of the crowded disk of stars, until the great spiral falls away beneath us, and we can see it for the first time whole. And it is breathtaking, a vast pinwheel of light, 100,000 light years across, its spiral arms sweeping out from the glowing central bulge, curving gracefully through the dark, sparkling with the light of perhaps 400 billion stars, threaded through with dark lanes of dust and glowing knots of pink where new stars are being born, and the whole thing turning impossibly slowly, a single serene rotation taking hundreds of millions of years. Somewhere out on one of those spiral arms, not near the center, not anywhere special, about 2/3 of the way out toward the edge, is a single, unremarkable yellow star, so small at this distance that you could never hope to pick it out from the hundreds of billions of others. Encircling that star, far too small to see, is a warm blue world, and on that world, a bed, and in that bed, you drifting towards sleep as the whole galaxy you were born in turns quietly beneath you. Everything you have ever known, every human being who has ever lived, every empire and every ocean and every song ever sung, all of it happened on a single mote of dust, circling one dim star in the outer suburbs of this one galaxy, which is itself only one among what comes next. Because here's the thing about the Milky Way, seen at last from outside. It is not alone. It never was. As we drift away from it, our galaxy begins to shrink and to gather companions in the dark. It is time to see how deep the universe truly goes. And there is a particular tenderness in seeing your entire home from outside, all at once for the first time. Everything that has ever happened to anyone happened somewhere in that soft spiral of light. Every war and every peace, every birth and every death. Every person you have ever loved and every person who ever loved anyone lived their whole life somewhere inside that turning wheel. And from out here, you cannot see any of it. You cannot see the borders or the cities or the striving or the sorrow. You can only see a single, calm, beautiful spiral of light, turning quietly in the dark, holding all of it gently, without any sign of the weight it carries. That is how the universe holds our troubles, not by erasing them, but by setting them in something so vast and so calm that they can finally be small enough to put down. Whatever you are carrying tonight happened somewhere in that spiral too. And from here, you can see how gently the galaxy holds it along with everything else. How much room there is around it. How much quiet. How much soft and patient dark. Rest a moment and look back at your whole galaxy, glowing softly, growing smaller. Then we turn outward again. Our galaxy, it turns out, has a family. As we rise higher, the Milky Way is joined in our view by another great spiral. Its equal, its near twin, the Andromeda galaxy, 2.5 million light years away, the most distant thing the human eye can see unaided from a dark enough sky. When you look at Andromeda, the light entering your eye left it 2.5 million years ago, when our earliest ancestors were just beginning to walk upright on the African plains. That light has been crossing the dark this entire time, only to end its journey in your eye on a quiet night. And Andromeda is drifting slowly toward us. In a few billion years, our two galaxies will meet and pass through one another. Not in a crash, for the stars are so far apart that almost none will ever collide, but in a slow, graceful merging, a dance of two great spirals that will take hundreds of millions of years to complete and will end with the two of them settled together into a single, greater galaxy. It has happened before, across the universe, countless times. It is simply what galaxies do, given enough time. There is nothing violent in it. It is slow, and it is gentle, and no one on any world will be in any danger as it unfolds. Around these two giants drift dozens of smaller galaxies, little companions, dwarf galaxies, faint smudges of a few billion stars each, orbiting the great spirals like moons around a planet. Together, all of them, the Milky Way, Andromeda, and their scattered companions, make up what we call the local group, a small, gravitationally bound family of galaxies, drifting together through the dark, holding on to one another across millions of light years of empty space. And the coming together of Andromeda and the Milky Way is worth resting on for a moment longer, because it is such a gentle thing despite its enormous scale. When two galaxies merge, you might imagine a great collision, stars smashing into stars. But the truth is almost unbelievably peaceful. The stars within a galaxy are so far apart. Think of a handful of grains of sand scattered across an entire continent. Though when two galaxies pass through each other, virtually no stars ever touch. They simply glide past one another, across the vast gulfs between them, drawn slowly into new orbits by the gathering gravity, until, over hundreds of millions of years, the two great spirals settle together into one. No world is destroyed. No star is lost. It is less a crash than a slow and graceful joining, two families of stars becoming one, across spans of time so long that the whole event, from first approach to final rest, takes longer than the age of life on Earth. Whatever is coming, in other words, is coming slowly and gently and long after tonight. There is nothing here to fear and nothing here that asks you to be ready. The galaxies have all the time there is to find their way together. And that whole family, that entire local group, which contains everything we have visited tonight and more, is itself only a single quiet suburb of something far, far larger. We keep rising. It is time to see the great structures. Now the galaxies become the stars. As we pull back farther, each galaxy, each vast island of 100 billion suns, shrinks to a single point of light, and we begin to see them not one at a time, but in their thousands, and then their millions scattered across the dark. And they're not scattered evenly. This is the great surprise of the universe, seen at the largest scale, and it is one of the most beautiful things we have ever discovered. The galaxies gather. They collect into clusters, great crowds of hundreds or thousands of galaxies, bound together by gravity. Our own local group drifts toward one such gathering, the vast Virgo cluster, and beyond it, we are all being drawn gently as part of an even greater structure, a supercluster so large that it has its own name, Waniara, a Hawaiian word meaning immeasurable heaven, our galaxy, and 100,000 others, all drifting slowly along invisible streams of gravity toward a common center, all part of one enormous, connected whole. And the clusters themselves gather into something grander still, strung together across hundreds of millions of light years. The galaxies trace out immense glowing filaments, long, luminous threads and walls and sheets of galaxies, curving through the dark. And between the filaments lie the voids, vast, almost perfectly empty chambers, hundreds of millions of light years across, where almost nothing is. Seen from far enough away, the entire universe takes on a single, unmistakable shape. It looks like foam. It looks like a sponge or a spider's web, or the network of a living thing. Bright filaments of galaxies surrounding great dark bubbles of emptiness, all of it woven together into a single delicate, glowing structure that astronomers call simply the cosmic web. And the voids between the filaments are worth pausing on, because they're so vast and so calm and so strangely comforting. These great dark chambers of near emptiness are hundreds of millions of light years across, and inside them there's almost nothing at all. A few lonely galaxies scattered so far apart that from one, you could scarcely see the others. If you have ever felt small or alone or lost in something too large to understand, the cosmic web has a gentle answer for you. Emptiness is not a flaw in the universe. It is most of the universe. The great dark voids are not wounds or mistakes. They're simply the spaces between, and they're what make the bright filaments visible at all. Without the dark, there would be no pattern to see. And the whole structure, bright threads and dark voids together, is not still. It is drifting slowly, expanding, every filament easing gradually farther from every other, the whole immense web opening outward like something breathing, so slowly that a single breath takes billions of years. It is the calmest motion in existence, the unhurried, patient expansion of everything there is, carrying every galaxy and every star, and you, gently apart from everything else, into an ever larger and ever quieter dark. It is the largest pattern that exists. Nothing in the universe is bigger than this, and every bright strand of it is made of galaxies, and every galaxy is made of billions of stars, and somewhere on one star and one galaxy and one strand of that unimaginable web, you are lying in the dark, breathing slowly, being carried along one of its gentle currents, held in the largest structure there is. Let that hold you. You are woven into the web too, onward to the edge. And now we come to the strangest and most wonderful part of the whole journey. We have been traveling outward through space. But the farther out we look, the farther back in time we see, because light takes time to cross these distances. The nearest galaxies we see as they were millions of years ago. The farther ones, billions. And so, as we push our gaze outward toward the edge, we're also pushing it backward toward the beginning, seeing galaxies as they were when they were young, and then younger, and then just forming, glowing red and rough and new. And if we look as far as it is possible to look, we come at last to a wall. Not a wall of stone or of anything solid, a wall of light. Beyond a certain distance, we see the universe as it was only a few 100,000 years after the Big Bang, so young and so hot that it was still glowing, filled edge to edge with a bright fog. That glow is still out there in every direction. The oldest light there is stretched by the long journey into a faint whisper of microwaves. The cosmic microwave background, and it forms a perfect sphere around us. In every direction we look, the farthest thing we can ever see, the edge of the observable universe, the horizon of the cosmos. We call it the observable universe because that is exactly what it is. Everything whose light has had time to reach us since the beginning. A sphere some 90 billion light years across, with the Earth, with you, at its very center. Not because we are special, but because every observer, everywhere in the universe, sees their own such sphere with themselves at the middle of it. Everyone is at the center of their own horizon. Everyone, and here is the gentlest truth of the whole night. That edge is not really an edge. It is not a wall the universe stops at. It is only the edge of what we can see, the limit set by the speed of light and the age of the cosmos. Beyond it, the universe almost certainly continues on and on, perhaps forever. More galaxies, more filaments, more web, more quiet immensity stretching out past any horizon, more of everything, farther than light has had time to travel, farther than we will ever see. And there's one more quiet wonder to hold, here at the edge. That wall of ancient light, the cosmic microwave background, is not somewhere far away in one direction. It is in every direction at once, all around us, a perfect sphere. And it is also, in a sense, the most intimate thing in the universe, because that same ancient glow is passing through your room right now, through your walls, through the blanket over you, through you, faint and constant and everywhere. The oldest light there is the first light the universe ever released is falling on you tonight, gently, as it has every night of your life, as it falls on everything, everywhere, all the time. You are not separate from the edge of the universe. It is here, in the room with you, the whole horizon of everything, softly present in the dark. And past it, though we cannot see, the universe goes on. More galaxies we will never observe, more filaments, more voids, more quiet immensity, reaching outward past every horizon, in every direction, farther than light has traveled since the beginning of time. We do not know if it ends. It may be infinite, and that, too, is a restful thought, that there's always more, always farther, an endlessness so complete that you will never come to the wall of it, never run out of universe, never reach a place where the gentle dark finally stops. We have reached the edge of the visible, and it opens softly onto an endlessness we can only imagine. Rest here at the horizon of everything. There is nowhere farther to go. Then, gently, we turn for home. Let's come back now. It takes no time at all. That is the mercy of traveling by imagination. We do not have to retrace the whole enormous road. We simply fall gently back inward, past the cosmic web, its bright filaments rushing together, past Laniakea, past the Virgo cluster, back into the local group, toward the two great spirals, and then toward one of them, ours, down into the Milky Way, past its golden heart, out along a spiral arm, to one small yellow star among hundreds of billions, down to the third planet, down through the night side, through the clouds, through the roof, to a quiet room, and a bed, and you. And here is what I want you to carry down into sleep. You have just traveled to the edge of the observable universe and back, and everywhere you went, it was calm. The planets sleeping in their orbits, the stars being born and dying in slow, quiet fire, the galaxies turning across hundreds of millions of years, the great web holding everything in its gentle net, the whole cosmos from your bedroom to the horizon of all things, going about its vast, slow work without hurry, without worry, without any need for you to watch over it. It has been doing this for 13 billion years. It will keep doing it while you sleep tonight, and while you sleep every night of your life, and long, long after. The galaxies do not need you awake. The stars do not need you awake. Nothing in all that immensity is asking anything of you tonight, except perhaps to rest, to be small and safe and held, one quiet light among countless lights at the center of your own small horizon, exactly where you belong. So let go now. Let the whole vast, gentle universe carry you, the way it carries the galaxies, without effort, without fear. Feel the weight of yourself in the bed, the pillow beneath your head, the whole turning earth beneath that, and the sun, and the great slow wheel of the galaxy, and all of it, holding you softly as you fall towards sleep. And now the words will slowly fade, and the soft sound will drift on for a long while in the dark, with nowhere left to travel and nothing left to do. You have already been to the edge of everything and come home again. There is nothing more to reach tonight. If you are still a little awake, Let the quiet carry you the rest of the way at your own pace in your own time. And if you're already mostly gone, then these last few words are only for the small part of you still listening. And to that part one say, simply, you can let go now. You are safe. You are held. The universe will keep turning without you, gently, all night long. And it will still be here, unchanged and calm, when you open your eyes in the morning. Close your eyes now, if they're not already closed. Let them stay closed. There is nothing more to see tonight that the morning cannot show you better. Breathe in slowly and out even more slowly. And again, and let each breath be a little quieter than the last, until you can no longer tell where your breathing ends and the great slow breathing of the universe begins. The universe is unimaginably vast and unimaginably calm, and you are a part of it, and it holds you gently all the way out to the edge and all the way back. The planets in their orbits, the stars in their slow fire, the galaxies turning across the ages, the whole immense and patient web of everything, all of it carrying you, asking nothing, needing nothing, only letting you rest. The cosmos is slumbering, and so are you. Good night, traveler. Sleep at the center of everything.